So let's talk about coming off Mind Games, the In Your House pay-per-view event on September 22nd. You're going to wind up being positioned here as the scapegoat for this Razor Diesel angle.
Oh, poor JR's scapegoat.
So we've got Rick Bogner dressed up as Razor Ramon, Glenn Jacobs dressed up as Diesel, and they're going to attack Savio Vega. And the entire episode of Monday Night Raw was built around teasing their appearance later in the show. And of course, WCW had already made it plain and clear on Nitro this same night by having Scott Hall and Kevin Nash on camera very early in the show. So, yeah, there you go. WCW, I guess, tries to have their own inside joke on their show. They introduced Mike Jones, the former Virgil. Of course, if you're keeping up with your longtime wrestling history, when they created a manservant role for the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, which is someone that Vince sort of saw himself as. If Vince himself was going to be a wrestler, it's been said that the $1 Million Man character in the 80s would have been the character he would have donned.
I see that.
And his manservant was named Virgil. Of course, the real life name of Dusty Rhodes, who was booking the competitions, Jim Crockett Promotions and the NWA on the other channel. So now that we have the former Virgil, the real life Mike Jones on WCW, what are we going to name him? Vincent. These guys are having fun with some of this tongue in cheek stuff here, are they not?
Oh yeah, it's kind of taking it too far. I'm not defending Vince, but bottom line is that it's an awful lot of thought given to something. Virgil's never going to sell any tickets. Right. Mike Jones not going to sell any tickets.
No.
But they were having fun and going along with the rib, and so that's what that was. It was a waste of time. Bottom line, and that may be harsh, but I thought it was a waste of time.
Well, it wasn't a waste of time. It's your performance here the night after Mind Games, Monday Night Raw. We see you in the center of the ring by yourself, and Meltzer called it a tremendous one-man performance. And you're almost going to turn heel a little bit here and explain what's going on and why you're doing it. And this is the first time in all your years in wrestling you've been asked to do something like this, right, Jim?
Yeah, it was fun for me because I wanted to be able to prove that I could pull it off.
Yes.
You're not a one-trick pony. You're not out there just looking for a headlock to call or some fancy name on a hold. So yeah, but I enjoyed the opportunity to expand my role and my skill set. That's a rough picture right there. I don't know what that was between Bill's palsy. I don't know what bout that was, probably the first or second one. But that I was always a little self-conscious about that.
Well, you worked your ass off in this promo. I want to encourage everybody to go out of their way to check it out. It's a quote unquote worked shoot angle, according to Dave Meltzer. Ross turned on the WWF, saying he left a good job in Atlanta and was also an announcer for the Atlanta Falcons when he was brought in to be the lead play-by-play man in the WWF. He said his first appearance was at WrestleMania 9, where they had him dress in a toga. And he said he left broadcasting the NFL to wear a toga. He said, if you check my call of the King of the Ring that year, it was a level above what anyone else in wrestling is capable of. And that everyone in this audience knows he's the best play-by-play announcer in the business. And that actually got a big baby face pop. So you're in the middle of this diatribe, sort of explaining why you're doing what you're doing, and the fans are with it. Did anybody help script this, or are you scripting this yourself?
No, there was no script writer on that stuff. That's me. I got direction on what was desired, but nothing written down. No, it's just instincts, and it was all new for me. So it's exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. Love Boat. It's horrible. Sorry, I apologize to the world right now. So it was again new territory, and somebody that had been in the business as long as I had was certainly, they certainly were willing to try things. If you don't, you go crazy. Don't take me out of my comfort zone because I might not be as good at this other role as I was in the former role. So, you know, it's crazy.
It is an incredible promo. I mean, it goes, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, but so good. You talk about being taken off television because the egotistical owner of the WWF, Vince McMahon, couldn't stand the competition, and you're getting some cheers and some boos here too. And then you talk about getting Bell's palsy and being fired 2 weeks later, and that you would have to tell your new wife and two little girls that their daddy had been fired. And you're talking about how you had to live in Connecticut, which you called an overpriced hellhole. And you said when Vince got indicted, that they brought you back and then let you go again. You
Oh, that's
finally,
true. The thing about that is it's all true.
yes.
It's not storyline. So sometimes what happens in real life is more viable and more entertaining than not. So we just took the truth, massaged it a little bit, and then rolled it out there and to see how it was going to get over.
You talk about being brought back for 50 cents on the dollar, and eventually you introduce Razor Ramon, and we've got the classic Razor Ramon entrance music. That's going to get a big pop here. And then, of course, immediately they recognize, wait, that ain't the same guy, and the crowd just sort of deflates.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately, Savio Vega attacks him, and the show goes off the air without ever actually introducing Diesel. I guess they're trying to hold one back for next week, as Dave sort of guessed here in the Observer. What did you think when this was all said and done? It's your debut of an in-ring promo like this, doing some real character work. Were you pleased with it? Was Vince pleased with it?
I think he was. I certainly, I didn't know what to expect, but I think we pulled it off. Was it going to be a big long term situation? Never thought it was, but I thought we could get a little bit of mileage out of it, and I believe that we did. We got some mileage, but it pretty much ran its course on schedule.
We ought to also mention that the next week they're going to record an argument between yourself and Gorilla Monsoon. Vega does wind up having a singles match with Razor Ramon. Diesel's going to interfere. The fans aren't booing like maybe the promotion was expecting, but there are some people who are deflated, and they even say a lot of people are walking out of the building, and it just came off really bad live. Do you remember this sort of dying a slow death on camera or no?
Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it, Conrad. But again, I'm not booking this.
Right.
I have a role to play. It's real simple. And the role that I was playing was this disgruntled guy who had all these legitimate reasons for being pissed off and angry. But no, you could feel it. Any angle, you could feel it peaking. Or it could be Stone Cold, Rock, anybody. So I didn't have an issue with it. I knew it was going to peter out. No pun intended for Blue Chew.
I love Peter now.